everybody. Welcome to Willie's Guitars, one of the last videos in the old store. I don't know how many we got left. I mean, who knows? Maybe one, maybe a dozen, but this is an interesting guitar we just got in. Now, when anytime somebody new comes to work at Willie's, I will tell them frequently that things come in groups. You will not see a pre-CBS Fender bass for months, and then all of a sudden you'll see two on the same day. And the other day is a day similar to that. So we have a 1964 P bass, and this, which isn't pre-CBS, it's post-CBS, this is a 1969 jazz bass. Now, I'm going to have the camera come in and look at that headstock. On black finished guitars from Fender, a lot of times you don't have the model name. You see Fender, but you don't see jazz bass. And that is factory correct. Now, about 90% of the time, I've seen black guitars, Jazzmasters, Jaguars, jazz basses with matching headstocks that in black don't have the model. It just gets lost in there, so they clip it off and just put Fender on there. Again, that's usually factory original. If I see that on a bass in black, I'm more likely to think it's factory original than original finish. This is an original finish. And you can see on some of the finish here too, there is kind of a white undercoat, which is common for Fender. You'll also see Fender finishes, especially from this time period, are pretty perfect. There's not much in the way of orange peel. So this bass is all original pickups, original guard. But what happened was somebody put a badass bridge on that. From you guys that were around in the 70s, remember that everybody was adding badass bridges. It was kind of like this thing everybody did. And in this case, they actually routed underneath the bridge to sink the badass into the body, which frankly was ill-advised, because what you do instead of just put the badass, which is slightly taller, on top of the bridge, you'd then shim the neck to come up. Instead of shimming the neck, they went to the trouble of routing it. What we did is fill the hole and refinish it. Now take a look at that. You can see the finish job is really good. It's really hard to see. And it does come with this cover, and I took this off so you can see it does have the cover, but I wanted you all to see that route on there. So the other thing is, at the top of the headstock again, you can see there's an extra string tree added. And then there's newer tuners. This came to us with like huge Shaler style tuners on this, and now it's back to the lighter weight vintage style. These are reissue tuners. So you had new tuners on it, the extra strap button, the finish is all original, the pickups are original, the pickguard's original. Really great bass, but wait, there's more. Also, on the same day, recently, came this 1964 P bass. So this P bass came to us from the original owner's family, and this P bass was refinished, we figure, in 1975, because the pots are 1975 pots. They were replaced. The pickup is original winding, the bridge, the green guard, and look at that luscious green guard. It actually looks pretty good. You can tell a lot of times original guards because of how they're beveled. They're not cut straight down. They're actually beveled at an angle, and that widens the black right here so that you can really see the black. And the more you cut it at an angle like this, it's hard to see, but when you cut a pick guard, you bevel it like this, the guard kind of pops more. You're bringing out more of the black. And this guitar has the wider C neck. All P basses from this time period had the wider C neck. And in the 70s, they tended to get a little smaller, but this wider. Going through a Bassman 10. This is a 60 watt amplifier, master volume, 410s from the 70s. This is actually a great guitar amp too. I would almost prefer this as a guitar amp, but it's a fairly functional bass amp. So this is Brazilian board, clay dot, green guard, pre-CBS P-bass. Really hard to find. We're as interested in buying yours as we are selling you ours. This one stripped. It's not necessarily refinished, it's more of a stripped finish. They took the paint off. And those of you that watch the Beatles special on Disney, the Beatles about 1970 took the finish off their guitars because it was going around that freed up the wood. Sometimes, but these lacquer finish basses, that really didn't matter, but it was a thing that everybody did in the 70s. This apparently sunk to this guy who did it to his bass. Remember too, in 1975, this bass was probably only worth $150. It's worth a lot now, and it'll be worth more in the future. So that's it. This is a pre-CBS green guard clay dot Fender Precision bass, original logo, original pickups that has been stripped. And then this, which also has a bit of a defect because that's what guys did, a 1969 original finish black with black matching headstock jazz bass. And this guitar has a few flaws like this guitar, so they're both priced under, but this is a really great example of something you can buy, a custom color Fender bass from the classic period and save yourself some money. There you go. I'll see y'all later, okay?